Hello everyone, my name is Kian Bridger, and today I'll be talking to you about my design process for Design Studio One. In this presentation, I'll be explaining my research, development, and the modifications leading up to a final design solution. In this presentation, I'll be addressing some issues with our current interface, the physical struggles linked to having an online class environment, and especially the auditory and visual distractions associated with the homework environment. From the student survey, I gathered that most students were working from an isolated area, whereas I was working from a much more passing area in my house, being the dining room. From the photo survey, we were able to assess our immediate surroundings and start to target areas where improvements needed to be made. From my online research, I noticed many articles offered tips and tricks on how to stay focused from home, but there were rarely any that mentioned products on how to stay focused. The one I did find was called Freedom, which could block distracting websites such as YouTube or Facebook. Moving on to the AEIOU worksheets, I noticed that our environments were much wider than we initially thought, and that there were many more things to take into consideration, such as the people in our classrooms, the people in our home environments, and especially the objects. While some of them may be essential to your preparation, they could be considered distractions for our in-class participation, like our sketchbooks, our phones, and our food. It was during the journey mapping section that we were able to identify when and why disturbances occur. So for me personally, since the addition of a second bunny to our family, things got immediately much louder and more distracting. So it was thanks to this journey mapping that I was able to regroup these pain points under 3 different categories and start identifying problem statements. So these problem statements concerned my focus, the interface that we were using, and the physical pains associated to having an online schedule. So I think I could have gone for either of the first 2 of these problem statements. Definitely the interface has a lot of issues that could be redesigned, but I decided to go for the first one due to the fact that I thought it was more open-ended and created a wider variety of solutions possible. Continuing with the ideation worksheets, I thought it was a really good idea to base our ideas on something that already existed, rather than just simply coming up with something out of thin air based on a problem statement. So that being said, I started off with post-it notes that turned into signs posted all around my workspace, and then finally to a focus board. The goal of this 3D printed solution was to eliminate your peripheral vision and focus your attention solely on course-related material. Thanks to this prototype, I was able to determine that I needed wider hinges on the sides of the board because due to its thickness, it cannot simply fold like paper. For my interactive solution, I began from the Freedom app, which was explained earlier, and moved on to an anti-distraction software that could be included in the interface that we have online currently, and finally to an auditory note-taking interface. AudioNote would help students stay focused in class by encouraging them to repeat important topics discussed in order for them to be transferred to a Word document as physical notes. I thought my mock-up was quite successful as it was inspired by the Adobe Suite and Microsoft Office and therefore never seemed to be running out of ideas as for what more tools I could include. My service solution started off as a focus music playlist, which then became Focus Experts, which consisted of a group of experts that could come into your house to target sources of distraction. This then evolved to a specialized focus therapy. So this therapy would have multiple specializations and would help users benefit from a distraction-free work, more free time, and reduced stress levels. Overall, I thought this product was quite strong, but wasn't able to envision a final concept other than a pamphlet, and I thought I had stronger ideas. For my product solution, I began with noise-canceling headphones, which turned into a noise-canceling focus board, and then finally to an entire reactive soundproof system. This focus bubble would be a 360-degree collapsible object equipped with noise-canceling technology. It was only upon building the prototype that I realized how difficult and impractical it would be to raise this product from the ground over a desk and over the user's head. But being the most interesting solution and the one with the most room for exploration, I decided to bring this back to the ideation step. This is where I tried applying my initial sphere idea to the retractable concept. My final concept shows how the dome would form over the user's head and retract beneath the surface of the table. The cylinder would also retract beneath the user to occupy the width of the floor. I thought this concept was the most promising due to the multiple detailing possibilities such as tinted windows to prevent solar glare and other visual distractions, or including a built-in screen to the dome and the multiple settings that are possible once this addition comes. Finally, what I learned from this process was the value of mock-ups and the possibility of bouncing back and forth between steps in order to create a better product. Thank you for listening.